Hey everyone, Matt here. Real quick before we jump into today's episode, I wanted to let you know that recently I have decided to expand my wings as a producer for podcasting and have jumped on as an assistant producer for Empires of Joy. This podcast is all about CBD and the rise of CBD, and what's great about it is that it's ran by Hannah Smith, and she comes on every week to talk about certain subjects in the CBD industry, from everything with starting your own CBD business to CBD for your pets. It's a very informative podcast, and I've been so glad to be part of it and to be able to work on it with her. For me, honestly, I don't know much about CBD, and I'm glad that I have this podcast because Hannah does a great job at not just talking about the science of CBD in an easy to understand way, but also just, again, great tips as well, and just knowledge that you should know if you're interested in CBD at all. So please go over to iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out Empires of Joy today. All right, everyone. Enough being said on my end. Let's jump into the episode.
We're doing episode 2 first, right?
Yeah, we're going to do episode 2 first.
I just want to double check.
No, that's cool. So I'm doing work for the union that I've talked about here a little bit on the podcast before. And we're in a group chat, and in that group chat, my boss is in there. And so one thing we have to do is just like reach out to union members as part of our work for the summer. And so she sends out lists like every other week for people that we need to contact. So she sent out a list this time, and she texts us. She's like, "Hey everyone, I sent out a list this week. How about we make this a challenge? First one to get the most members to sign back up is gonna get a free car." And so like, I took this moment to be really sarcastic. And I was like, oh, well, what kind of, depends on type of car, because if it's this car, I'm totally winning this thing. And I sent a picture of, like, Walmart's, like, kids, like, little tykes, like, Batmobile.
Oh, the drivable ones?
Yeah, the little drivable ones. But my timing, what's so funny about my comedic effect is that my timing is perfectly timed at the worst times possible.
Yeah.
And so when I sent that, literally, like, with a second difference, somebody sent prior to that, "Oh, that'd be nice since I don't have a car."
Yeah, so it went. It's like, because I'm sure you were in the middle typing all that, and you didn't even notice that he sent it.
Yeah.
Or he or she, whatever, whoever, the person sent it.
Yeah.
And so it goes, your boss saying, "All right, whoever gets the most members gets a free car." Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, exactly.
Joke. And then they're like, "Oh, that's great because because you showed me this," and like the person was like, "Yeah, that'd be great because I don't have a car." And it's that like smiley face with this huge wide eyes of like, "Ha ha ha, my life is so sad."
Like, and I'm just like, Batmobile.
And you're like, "Because I'd be down if I can get this car." Just this one person says like, "Well, I don't even have one." So
I like how I made your serious life problem trivial. I don't know, and I don't know who that person is, but I'm really sorry. That was just bad timing on my end.
Would be even just like that. Just reminds me of like, because it's true. You have like horrible timing with your like, "Oh, this would be a great real life joke," instead of like, "Hey, you want to hear a joke?" Or like one of those instances. Yeah. I could see like coming up here or something like that for like maybe either the podcast or just to hang out, and like Harrison will be here super sad, and me and Dev will be like around him like trying to comfort him, and you're like, "Oh man, who the fuck died in here?" And then Harrison would look at it like, "My dad," or "My mom," or whatever.
"My dad died." Oh.
His greatest magic trick. You didn't see me.
Welcome back to the Punk Rock Horror Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Cody.
We're the only podcast in the world where the love of punk rock culture meets the love of horror movies, and Denver's self-proclaimed #1 all things for horror. And today, we're here to remind you that the Batwoman show looks pretty awful.
It does.
Not gonna lie.
Like, okay, so I'm not a huge fan of Ruby Rose. Like, I don't know, just something about her I don't like. Like, there's nothing like her in general. There's really nothing wrong with her.
I know what it is.
But it's just something about her. Like, I just don't like her.
I know what it is.
What?
So it was like the same thing with like Channing Tatum and Megan Fox when they first arrived, like as stars, right?
Yeah.
So like follow along with me on this. So like Megan Fox got famous really fast because she was hot to look at.
Yeah.
And that's purely what it is. And you can call me sexist or whatever, but that is literally what it is. I mean, even in Transformers, they designed that movie, like, all of her scenes to be, like, a sex symbol. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, that's what she became. Same thing with Channing Tatum. Yeah. Like, that's how he got his big start, was being mostly a sex symbol.
That's true. And even though he's actually a pretty good actor. And, like, and that's my thing with Ruby Rose. I like the stuff she's in.
Yeah.
Like, John Wick 2, she's fantastic. And I actually really like that she knows sign language. And her and John Wick, like, we're talking sign language the entire movie. I thought that was awesome.
Right.
Like, that was really cool to me. And, like, and then I also like her in The Meg. Because she's in that too. The only thing I don't like... I know what it is. It's because, except for in John Wick, every time I've seen her... Yeah. Her hair looks nasty. Well, like, it looks dirty. Like, in The Meg, like, I don't know if it's just because, like, I'm just picturing her in The Meg everywhere else right now. Because in The Meg, her hair is always super oily or wet. And it's like, well, she works... in the ocean, dumbass. Of course, it's gonna always look wet. Right. Like that's like.
I mean that I don't know. But my whole point being is that like Channing Tatum was able to separate from that because he came out with his own movie and has kind of shown that he has more substance as
he can actually direct. Too.
Yeah, like as a director and as a comedic actor. Where Megan Fox kind of just fell off because she didn't really do anything else. Like I know she was in Jennifer's Body. I know a lot of people like that movie, but really do not get me started on it.
Okay, I like that movie and I like that Megan Fox is in it, mostly because she owns the fact that this whole movie is around the fact that everybody wants to fuck her. Yeah. And she owns it, but like that's the only reason why I like it is because like for her what she was being portrayed as like in the movies and stuff at that time. Yeah. She just owned it for a horror movie, and I was like, all right, Megan. All right,
and that's the same thing that happened to Ruby Rose, though. She came on the scene within Orange is the New Black, and she literally came up being like, oh my god, the new actress on Orange is the New Black is so hot.
See, I've never seen Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, that's how it became to be, and so she kind of just came out as like a new sex symbol. And again, there's nothing wrong with being a sex symbol, and I'm not saying that at all.
And I actually
it's just that she's kind of lacking that substance to make her stand out. Like Channing Tatum did. And it's not like male versus female. It's just Channing Tatum was able to separate his sex symbol status with being a director and with being a comedic actor and was able to show that he has more of a range. Where right now Ruby Rose is kind of in this gray area where she's kind of only doing subpar action movies.
Yeah.
And like that's
except for John Wick.
Yeah, except for John Wick.
I will argue to death.
But one compared to 3, like you see what I'm saying?
I haven't. Yeah, that's true. I haven't seen 3 yet. I really want to see it. And I also think I think it's also just because like I don't really know who Ruby Rose is, and everyone has been talking about her like being super excited that she's like all these characters or whatnot. I'm like,
well, she is a prominent member in the LGBTQ community because good
for her.
Yeah, she's lesbian. Yeah. But coming back to why the Batwoman...
Oh, yeah. But coming back to that, just so... speaking of that, just because, like... So everyone's... the trailer does look terrible. Yeah. But something good that came out of the comic community, at least in my opinion... Right. Besides, like, God, the trailer... Ultimate Alliance 3 came out, and I fucking love it.
Oh, are we segueing in?
We're segueing into something you love and something we hate.
This is the segment of the show where we, if you're new to the show, we talk about something we love and hate that's happened in the last day, week, or month that we just want to talk about and kind of relate to everyone a little bit more. And if you agree with any of these issues, please reach out to us on Twitter. All right, and Cody, take it away.
So I love the fact that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 came out, and it's actually really good. Because it's not done by... by Raven Software? Or
was it?
Raven?
I think it was Raven.
Yeah, Raven. It's not done by Raven like the first two. It's done by Ninja Theory.
I think Raven did it. I feel like Activision published it.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, so it's Switch exclusive, but it's a lot of fun. And so I will admit, it is kind of a little bare bones. Like each hero is a little bare bones because like when you're playing as your favorite hero, you only unlock like 4 abilities. Right. But what they did to make up for that is the synergy attack. So you link your attacks, and instead of like being this huge spectacle like in Ultimate Alliance 2, where if you had Cap and Iron Man on your team,
they do the whole ray thing with the shield.
Yeah. Instead of doing that, because they took that feature out, which I was a little sad about, Each hero has their own special ability.
Yeah.
And you do your special ability, and if all 4 of your heroes have them all built up, you could do them all at the same time, and you don't need to switch to them. You just press one button.
Oh, okay.
So they made the flow of combat in this game like a lot better.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and like
did they keep like the actual like costumes like in the previous installments and how like they have different buffs?
No.
Oh
no! The thing that sucks about the costumes in this one is they're just color swaps, and they only have one.
Oh, that really bums the shit out of
Yeah,
me.
so I'm hoping that they'll add costumes with the DLCs because I'm really. You'll love the DLC for the first one.
Oh yeah.
It's basically anti-heroes.
Okay.
So you're getting Punisher.
Okay.
Oh fuck! I just heard about the other two, but the one I know you'll be excited about is Moon Knight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're throwing Moon Knight in there.
I love my Moon Knight.
I'm super excited about that.
I'm looking it up, by the way.
And so, but because of this is one thing. The one biggest thing that bugs me though about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is it has to deal with the MCU. And so I watched a video on What Culture, and they talked about how the MCU is kind of hurting Marvel in general.
Oh shit! Sorry,
Yes.
I just looked it up. So I'm totally like interrupting, and I apologize.
Uh-huh.
But it's the Punisher, Morbius, Blade.
Morbius.
So it's all the Marvel Knights.
Yeah,
that's fucking.
That's right. It's
dope.
Marvel Knights.
That is dope.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Like, except they're missing Ghost Rider, and that
he's already in it.
Oh, okay, cool. Then
Yep,
I'll
he's
let
already in it.
I'll let it go.
Don't worry. How he shows up is super badass.
Okay,
man.
don't spoil anything.
You.
So,
and they added. Okay, so this is one that I thought was really, really cool. Is so when you unlock heroes, you go to certain areas that would deal with that hero instead.
Okay.
So like when you're unlocking Daredevil, you're in Shadowland, which is the temple on top of the skyscraper that Kingpin ends up taking over.
Right.
So that's how you unlock Daredevil.
And Daredevil's like, you're treasuring all my shit, you motherfucker.
Yeah, that's how you unlock all the Defenders, because they fight the Hand. But so, I'm not going to explain how you unlock Daredevil, but what they threw in a hero that totally caught me off guard, and I loved it. Ella Bloodstone.
Really?
Yeah, she's in it.
That's weird.
So, she's kind of new. For those who don't know who she is, she works more in the like horror aspects of Marvel, so she works up close.
So still like in the Marvel Knights realm.
Yeah, so like
Marvel
Ghost
comics.
Rider, Doctor Strange, she works alongside with a lot.
The supernatural kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the supernatural stuff, and she's a monster hunter, and it's so dope. She carries two twin boomsticks on her back and shit. Oh, it's so cool.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I mean, I definitely want to pick it up.
You should. It'll be a lot of fun. And so
I might wait till the first DLC though.
Yeah, that's fine. And so the thing that bugs me from the video is how the MCU is hurting Marvel, and I kind of agree with it because when you look at the MCU and when Marvel's Avengers, the game was coming out, everyone flipped shit because the characters didn't look like their MCU counterparts. You know what I mean? Like, Cap didn't look like Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Iron Man didn't look like Robert Downey Jr. Black Widow didn't look like ScarJo. And I feel like because Marvel's become so mainstream with the MCU, it kind of dawned on me. It really is starting to affect it because almost all the costumes in the game outside of the X-Men are almost look exactly like their MCU counterparts.
Right.
So Black Widow has the short hair like ScarJo does instead of her long red locks in the comics.
Yeah.
Captain America's costume isn't the corny one with the wings. It's more his soldier army aspect garb from the movies.
Yeah. And you know what? I agree with that, man.
Because it takes its individuality out. I mean, they straight up changed Nick Fury just so he looks more like Samuel L. Jackson instead of his James Bond-esque look.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like, he did switch to, like, an African pigment in the comics when, like, it was shortly after, like, the Civil War run, and, like, he was running away from S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's when the Ultimate series was being brought in, and at that same time, that's when, like,
the MCU was starting.
Yeah, it was taken from the Ultimate series instead.
Yeah.
So, like, that one I can let go because I guess you could make the argument in that case. But I totally agree because it was nice having the MCU just being a separate thing.
Yeah. That's what I liked. Because I remember when we were first getting into the MCU, it was kind of bugging us in the beginning.
Right.
Because, like, as much as I loved the first Captain America movie, it pissed me off so much that they could have easily just straight up redone the comic.
Right.
Easily, and it would have transferred so easily to the big screen. But then they changed it up for the movie, and of course, like, us hardcore ones were like, get But then, like, when they're like, look, the movies are an entire separate universe. How about we'll make it its own universe so that way you still get the benefits? And the rest of us were like, okay, we're used to that. Because how many times was Daredevil been restarted?
Oh my god,
Ghost Rider
Cap
been restarted?
especially.
Cap too.
Spider-Man. Let's not even get started on the whole multiverse
and
thing.
then let's not even get into X-Men. How many X-Men? Uncanny X-Men First Class,
and then when
X-Force.
X-Men got super depressing, and there was like no one in the mansion anymore, and it was like, it was like Professor X is dead, Jean Grey is dead.
Everyone's dead except for Wolverine.
The mansion's hamster is dead.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're getting really depressing up here.
I know, but so that's something that kind of bugged me. But the other thing that I actually do like a lot about Ultimate Alliance 3 is that there's actually, they included, unlike the last fucking Marvel vs. Capcom game, which we're not going to talk about because it doesn't exist. The last one's only Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Ooh, yeah, let's not talk
Or
about
Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's the last one.
That was pretty rough.
Not Infinite, just 3. Infinite doesn't exist. Is that they
Infinite was good because they included more Marvel characters.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
They took out all the X-Men. They took out all of the Fantastic Four that was in it before. Like, anything that wasn't owned by Disney wasn't in Infinite.
No, it wasn't Infinite. The
Not
expansion?
Infinity. No. So there's a fourth game.
No, I know.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, so wait, the fourth one's Infinite.
Yeah. So,
sorry, I thought that the full expansion for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was called Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Infinite.
No, the expansion was Ultimate.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. That's why I was getting confused. I was like, what are you talking about?
No. Yeah, Ultimate. But anyway, so they have a lot of X-Men in it, and they actually include the Inhumans. Yeah. I was like, that's dope. Yeah. Like, Crystal is one of the first characters you can get.
Remember that PS2 fighting game, the Inhumans?
That was terrible.
It was terrible, but it was cool. Like,
I know,
it was like,
but it wasn't the real Inhumans, though.
I mean, they had Venom.
They were mutants. They're just mutants.
So
yeah, that was disappointing. But anyway, so if you it's fun, and it's a lot of fun on your own too. Like, it is tailor made for 4-player co-op, but it's a lot. I have a lot of fun because there's this new feature called Hero Camera. So it just zooms in on your hero that you're playing as.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it feels a little bit more on its own.
So it's like easier to find your hero.
Yeah. So that's what I like about it. But the thing that I hate this week, so for those you don't know, we live in Denver, and one of our biggest music festivals in the EDM scene, techno, house music.
All the beeps and boop songs, basically.
Yeah. Is Global. And Global is one of the biggest things for those scenes out here. Yeah. And so, but during the Global
Weekend... It's also one of the few festivals that still come out here.
I know.
Sadly.
And so, that festival was this past weekend or the weekend before. And the thing I hate is the fact that once... so it got shut down for a little bit because it rained. It got rained out. Yeah. This is why I love the punk rock scene so much. When we get rained out, what do? We just chill, hang out, talk to each other, wait until the music either is going to come back on. And if it gets canceled, we all get pissed off, but that's about it. We still talk and still have a good time. Because I remember for Riot Fest one year when I was gimpy. Yeah. It rained out for Rise Against for the most part. They ended up playing, but it got rain delay.
There was stall, yeah.
And we all just chilled and talked and had a good time.
Right.
It was time for us to go get drinks. Well, at Global, they got rained out, and they fucking rioted, basically. Started looting shit.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And that was dumb because, there was this one video, I saw, where it was this, they were all looting this one vendor, taking all the drinks from it, and this vendor actually, most of its proceeds, or all of its proceeds, went to this animal shelter. Yeah. So it went to a good cause. So, you just see this video of all these people continually stealing shit, and it made me so goddamn angry. Yeah. And, it made me so disappointed in this entire state. Yeah. Thankfully, I will say, though, I did find out, though, to, add on to it real quick, there was, a GoFundMe, and they were able to, match those funds that they lost.
Oh, good.
So, people, helped out, but still, told people that still, what the fuck.
Yeah, and so, that... So that's what I hate is that people in general that do that shit. They get so mad. It's I paid all this money, so I'm gonna start stealing shit. It's dude, come on. Those companies paid money to be there too. The vendors paid money to be there. They have to. like paid to be represented there.
Now, and I don't know if like the artist could have chosen to go on anyways or not. If not, and they chose not to, I don't really know much about the EDM scene. And like I'm assuming that's kind of like a bad thing to like play during the rain. But then again, like when coming back to like Rise Against. Like, they
ended up playing in the rain.
Yeah, they played in the rain. Like, and they still have electrical equipment on stage. I mean, it's probably not. It's more likely not as apparent as compared to an EDM show.
Yeah, but I mean, like I will give the EDM artists like they're right there, surrounded by it. You know what I mean? So like I could understand they're like, nah, I'm not comfortable going out and doing that. Right, like, that's totally fine. It's just mostly the fans, and that actually bleeds into a small thing that I love. As much shit as us punk rockers and metalheads and death metal heads get and stuff, like, at shows, we're super fucking respectable. Like,
for the most part,
like, when we went to System of a Down, when they had their reunion tour, I was on crutches. Like, I was talking to one of my friends about this. Yeah. Like, 'cause I found out she's a huge System of a Down fan also, and so I was telling her about that concert. Yeah. And I just remember at that concert, everyone was super chill with me. They I remember someone offered me their seat. And then after the show, everyone was like, "That's a real rocker there." And I'm like, "Oh my crutches." Like, but then, like, hearing stories, like, from Lauren and some of our other friends that like country music, how they say, like, at country shows, there's always a group of guys that are just jackasses trying to start fights all the time. And shit, like, don't get me wrong, that shit happens at punk shows.
And at festivals, it's definitely it's more, like, occurring at that time.
But, like, it's just funny because, like, whenever I take my friends to, like, punk shows that have gone to all these other shows, they're like, man, punk rockers, like, they mosh hard and they, like, we get, like, super into the music. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, we're super respectable and nice people.
I firmly believe it's that we're all checking our egos at the door. Yeah. Where it says country, there's, like, that whole music is centered around an ego. And you can sit there and argue with me so much and say it's not, but, like, be honest, what is country music's main demographic? Like, really think about this. It's the average American guy or girl who, like, either did grow up on a farm or didn't grow up on a farm or grew up in the South. And there's kind of that mentality with it.
It's the whole man up mentality.
Yeah, kind of like that toxic man up, woman up mentality. And we can get into that conversation, but that's a whole different entire boat.
And we're not saying all country music lovers are like that. Some of our best friends are country music lovers. I actually do enjoy country every now and then. I mean, I'm more of an outlaw country or bluegrass fan. Right. But, like...
As comparative to, like, punk, though, there is a definite difference in scene.
Yeah. And so that's just one thing that I love is, like, we're targeted as, like, the degenerates and the terrible people, yet you go to a show and it's like, if I've seen, like, girls crying at punk shows and everyone just goes up and is like, "You all right? Here, you want me to buy you a beer? You want a beer or something like that?" Or just like, "Hey, you know what? Let's go mosh. It'll help get your frustrations out." Like, always, like, being supportive. Right. Or, like, while I, like, at other like, festivals I've gone to, and, like, I'll see someone upset or cry, like, I'll use hear, "Quit being a bitch!" like, shit like that. So... But, I mean, there are those people in our scene, too. We're not saying that there's not. Just from my personal experience, I've always had better times at punk shows and rock shows because, like, I've always seen more respect from people. Right. So, yeah. What about you, Matt?
So, for me, for what I love and hate this week, what I love... Actually, you know, I'm going to finish on that because it's more sweet, obviously. So what I hate this week is, so, like, there's... I found out about this on Barstool Sports, because believe it or not, I do follow their Snapchat. They have a fairly decent like, Snapchat channel on Barstool. And so, like, it's probably the only Barstool thing I actually follow. Like, I literally don't follow it for sports. I just follow it for, like, the videos and, like, the interesting facts. Yeah. So, anyways, that aside, so I found out that there's this camp being hosted. It's called a podcast camp, right? Mm-hmm. And so let's paint this picture for you first, okay? So you can go to this podcast camp. They'll work on your verbal skills, your recording, your sponsorship deals, and you'll get to learn all this experience, and you get a public speaker. Sounds pretty great, right? Yeah. Now, let me include this part. It's meant for kids. Just to go costs like over $3,500. Jesus. And the guest speaker is Ben Shapiro. And if there was ever a definition for a scam, ever. It's this fucking podcast camp, and these people can go fuck themselves or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, man. It pisses me off to the foil rock fucking end here. Now, as podcasters ourselves, we've been doing this for 2 years, and we keep...
Yeah, and we taught ourselves.
And we have, and we taught ourselves, and we're still asking for support for our Patreon and merch, because just to keep the lights on here. And we're pushing so much for that, and then you have these fucking douchebags come out and like, hey, why don't you come spend all this money to a podcast camp and learn all these things? And I'm like, you can go fuck yourself royally.
Yeah.
And Ben Shapiro as a fucking like speaker, fuck yourself. Like what? Like first of all, this should be directed at adults. We all know that. Like yeah, anyone can run a podcast, but let's be honest, it's usually like 18 and up.
Yeah,
like at minimum. Yeah, like if you're gonna run a podcast. Not saying that like anyone below 18 can't, but like just speaking on average here. Yeah. Second of all, if you're going to have any speaker, like, it definitely needs to be someone that's more well-known in the podcast community. Like the host from punkrockhorrorpodcast, throwing our name in there. But point being is, like, it should have been, like, Joe Rogan or, like, David Cummings from No Sleep. Or, like, even Anna Faris, who she has actually, like...
I mean, Dan Cummings. Or, no, yeah,
David Cummings. It is David Cummings.
Or Dan Cummings from Time Suck.
Yeah, or Anna Faris, because she does, like actually run a college course, too. Yeah. Like, these are people that you could go to instead. Or even, like, the girls from My Favorite Murder, or so on and so forth. And
especially
like,
if you're charging $3,500,
right?
Like,
instead,
you can shell out to get a good
Ben
podcast.
fucking Shapiro, like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
like it makes me so goddamn mad because we're putting in all this work and then it trivializes what we're doing and the passion we have for this and the fact that we're surviving on pennies just to keep this podcast alive. Yeah, and they're just like, you know, we're gonna trivialize it and make it a kids thing, and we're gonna make it into a camp. Now, they're probably going to make money off it, and that'll make me mad, too. But the fact that they're putting in such this type of way makes me so goddamn angry. Because the fact of the matter is, to do podcasting, you need to have a passion for it. Yeah. You need to have a certain, or the passion for the niche that you're doing. And it makes me so goddamn mad, because it's like, it's just a spit in the face of all the hard work we put in. Because I know it's like, we're coming out with episodes, and it just seems like we're talking. But believe it or not, there is a lot of work that we put into...
A lot of our research. We have to make sure we watch our movies. Yeah. Like, and not just that, we got to make sure we're, like, keeping our content good and relative and relevant.
There's just a lot of work to it. Yeah. And just for them to just trivialize... It just makes me so fucking angry. So those people can go fuck themselves and choke on some goddamn vibrators for all I care. That being said, the thing I love this week is that it's kind of like two quick shout outs. So for one is I love the shit out of my daughter. So I mean when I was coming up to record yesterday, she didn't want me to leave. Like she's getting all teary eyed, and it was like a hard moment in that instance. But then like I gave her like my Iron Maiden shirt that I was gonna wear, and it was my first Iron Maiden shirt I've ever owned. So I gave it to her. I told her to wear it. And told her to take care of it because I'm going to come back for it. And, like, she got so determined to make sure, like, Duke doesn't mess with the shirt, that she doesn't get food on it. She's like, I'm not going to mess with it. No. I'm going to take care of it. And she got so serious about it. And it was just, like, a really sweet moment. It made me choke up. I was like, I can't wait to take you to your first metal show.
I know. I had one of those moments with Audrey the other week because I was getting ready to go to work. And she didn't want me to go to work. And she's just, she sees me. I always wear hats. Yeah. So you know how you got Erin her own little vest because you usually wear a vest and everything? Yeah. Well, she was like, she always picks up my hats and tries to put it on her. So I found one of my older hats that like I don't wear anymore. And I gave it to her and she was wearing it all day. She's like, yeah! Like I had to wear it exactly how she wore it. Yeah. Like I had to wear my hat how she was wearing her hat. Right. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, right. Like those small moments. Like, and it was like really cute because like now Erin knows like what a podcast is and like what I do, and so she'll ask me. She's like, "How'd the podcast go?" And so like I can't really tell her everything because it's because we are like an 18 and up at least, like content podcast. I'm like, "Oh, it's good. How was the movie? It was a really good horror movie. Oh, cool. What happened in it? I'll tell you later."
You can't be like, yeah, so there's the sex scene and the guy came up behind the girl while she's on top and she just got her head cut off.
Right, or like took a fucking knife and the dick and just kept slamming it in. It was fucking rad. Like I don't think I can really, like, that's probably not a good thing to talk to.
Yeah, especially like the movies that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, for this. So, yeah.
Because this was this topic. It was an interesting topic.
It was an interesting topic. So other thing that I'm going to do real quick is also give a shout out to my baby mama, my wife, Lauren. It's actually, at time of this recording, it is basically our anniversary. But by the time this comes out, it'll be past that. So I want to say happy anniversary to her and for just being an amazing wife and putting up with me and joking around with me and just being an all-around beautiful person to me and just being a beautiful person in general. And I know she's going to be listening to this and going to start tearing up and crying. Like, you son of a bitch. You fucking made me cry, asshole. And she's literally, as I said that, she's going to text me and be like, you asshole. So I want to give a shout out to her. It is our anniversary, so I love you. And all the mushy gushy feelings aside, let's jump into our horror movies this week.
Yeah.
So, I went first last time.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's a little late now, but... So I think... Who went first last time? Because we did...
I went first.
We did American Psycho.
Yeah, I went first.
Yeah, so you did go first. So I'll go ahead and go first this time then. So, we're talking about the emphasis on eroticism with horror in movies this week. And so, like, there was I shouldn't be surprised, but yet I'm still kind of surprised at the mass amount of, like, movies that have this theme. So one really good example is, like, we talked about Jennifer's Body. This is one that really talks about this really well. Species is also another really good one.
Yeah,
like,
Species, like, was one of the ones that I first thought of.
Yeah, like, Species is, like, I mean, that whole premise is her, like, seducing, like having sex with people to literally kill them.
Kill them and procreate.
Yeah. So I decided to... So I took in a couple things with this one. So one, we haven't talked about this director enough yet. And also, we've actually had a few listeners say to us, I can't really watch all the intense movies that often. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to find a classic one that's easily palpable for not just, like, newcomers to horror, but also for our veterans of horror and all of our veteran ghouls and gals. So I did some looking, and I was really happy to find a David Cronenberg film.
What?
One of his earliest movies. Like, this
David Cronenberg does sex.
That's never happened in any of his movies. This is like one of his first earliest movies ever done. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll mention at the end as well, you're going to have to either subscribe to a channel or buy this outright to, like, watch it. I think you can rent it right now too, but this is kind of a little bit harder to find. So enough being said, I did my review on 1977's Rabid. So it's directed by David Cronenberg and written by David Cronenberg. Stars Marilyn Chambers, Frank Moore, and Joe Silver. The synopsis is, a young woman develops a taste for human blood after undergoing experimental plastic surgery, and her victims turn into rabid, bloodthirsty zombies who proceed to infect others, which turns into a citywide epidemic. Real quick, what the fuck, IMDb? Why can you do a good, like, synopsis on this movie, but, like, the most percentage of the other ones that we've talked about, you kind of, like, really shot the shit for it and, like, fucked up? Like,
they're haunted.
Like, spooky ghosts.
Ghosts!
Like, that's might as well what they did.
If I was a synopsis person for IMDb, I would straight up just put, like, any ghost movie, just be going, ghosts!
Right, like, that's a paranormal activity. What's this about? Ghosts! Which that would have fit better for, like, Casper.
Oh my god. And it would just be so great. Can you imagine, like, every movie about, like, ghosts on IMDb, their synopsis page is just like, okay, how many people are in this movie? It's starring only two. 2 people and ghosts!
Like,
a man and his ghost!
For like 120 Days of Sodom. Just like, where they're like, what's the synopsis for 120 Days of Sodom? Like, we both know why you're watching this, you sick fuck.
Yeah,
we'll keep your secret, but shame on you.
Or the one for Antichrist, like, come on, we know why you're here.
You can't get past us. For Species, it's the boobs, right?
Yeah.
You're here for the boobs.
Yeah, you're just the boobs.
So,
or Jennifer's Body. You're here to see Megan Fox naked, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. You can see Amanda Seyfried, I guess. She's not naked either, but
she's there.
She's there. And that's Jennifer's body.
Yeah, I like Amanda Seyfried.
I know, it's fine. That's just my review of Jennifer's body. There you go. That's kind of what you're getting for it.
There's a scene where they make out. If you're into, if that tickles your
there
pickle.
There you go, man. If you need a warm up to jack off, this is the movie for you. So with Rabid, so keep it in mind, it's really hard to review a Cronenberg film because he is such an artistic fucking weirdo. Mm-hmm. Like his cons are his pros in all of his movies. And, like, I admire that of him. And that sounds like a really, like, straight kind of, like, shot at him. But it is a general pro. Like, hats off to David Cronenberg. He really sticks with his, like, idea of what his movie should be. Yeah. And so I do applaud him for that. So one thing I'm going to just give right away is that this movie, it jumps right in. So that's a pro. There is no long opening credit scene. There isn't. It literally just jumps in. And I'm just so happy about it. Because I'm like, yes!
I think it's funny because we both watched my movie last night.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god!
It was fucking rough, dude.
It was. I'll admit, it was a little rough.
It was rough. We'll get to that after this, but like this just jumps right into the setting of the movie. It jumps into these two characters that we're following who are on a trip on this motorcycle, and they crash, and then we get introduced to, I think her name is Rosie. This is the woman who gets plastic surgery and starts the whole infection. And so it jumps right in, and I love that. So I'm like, fucking thank you. Like, it just does the... And, I mean, maybe it's just a product, but it's time for that because it's a 1970s flick. So, I mean, you're going to get it right away. This is definitely Cronenberg throughout the entire film. Yeah. So, because after the accident happens, there's this, hospital nearby that specializes in plastic surgeries. So they go grab the woman, bring her to this hospital, do plastic surgery on her, right? Yeah. And then after that, she begins to admit these weird kind of symptoms, alluding to that she might have rabies. So the way they show this is that she lifts up her armpit and like this little like flesh needle comes out. Uh-huh. Kind of like you would see like from like an insect or something like that. Uh-huh. And like she stabs people with it.
What the fuck?
And like, or she'll bite someone's neck and take that needle and like put it into the person's neck. Like, it's kind of like a seed. So like, it's definitely
definitely a movie for you.
It's It's fucking Cronenberg.
I know, but
it is totally Cronenberg.
Just like describing this, I could just see you like, oh man. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fucking hot.
Eject him.
Oh god, yeah. And so, as she begins to do this to everyone in her life, I realize this is kind of like a good take on a common fear that we all have. Yeah. And with that being said, like it's about rabies, right? And so with rabies, I mean, like we all have. Rabies is bad. I don't think I really need to talk about like why rabies is bad. I think we kind of
I had rabies once and it was pretty fine. Yeah, I just had to take like 6 injections in my stomach, you know.
I just slept it off. Just slept it off.
I slept it off. I felt the urge to start like...
I wrote down my dad's throat. It's not a big deal.
I started foraging for nuts.
Like, so, but like there's obviously like rabies is something to generally be scared of, and it takes a good spin off that. Because, I mean, as we have Quarantine that has also done that as well with rabies. Yeah. This is like kind of like that very first iteration of it because it's Cronenberg, it's the 70s, and it's like, what if we took like rabies and really fucked that shit up? And that's kind of what they do with it, and I like that because it makes so what it does, the disease, it makes the person infected not able to eat like normal food. Yeah. So like, and we see that with Rose, is she's trying to like just eat like a normal meal and she vomits it up. Mm-hmm. Or like when she gets picked up a trucker, he gives her something like beef jerky and she vomits it up. Mm-hmm. It's only when she eats flesh that she can actually keep her food down. Yeah. And so like she even tries to go into a barn at one time and tries to, what the scene is setting up for is her about to eat this cow. Mm-hmm. But instead she throws up even at the thought of it. Huh. And so it's just this like really cool like
throws up on the cow and then the cow just goes
Woo! How rude!
How mood, okay.
So where this hits on for like the eroticism though, is that it is spread through her being seductive and trying to seduce people in that manner. And so when, guys get closer, so coming back to, like, the cow scene. So shortly after she vomits, the farmhand, or farmer, just walks through the barn and says, what do we have here? And he's drunk because it's the 70s, and I guess farmers were mostly drunk back then. I don't know why he's drunk. Yeah. I'm just saying he's drunk. It's David Cronenberg. Bear with me. And so the dude's fucking drunk, and he's like, time to get my rape on. Like, and that's, like, the vibe that it's going for. So, like, he's getting down, and she's like, oh, okay. And, like, tries to, like, come here and ravish me, oh, handsome farmman. And he's like, I'm coming, babe.
Just like that?
Yeah.
I should say, oh, farmhand, come ravish me.
I mean, that's how I took the scene. It's just, coming for you. Coming for that booty. Time to lay some cornstalk. I don't know what farmers really do, so if that didn't make sense, fucking bear again. The point I'm trying to get at is that
you're gonna cob my corn, aren't you?
Time to plow these fields. Time to get up at 4 a.m, plow these fields, then go feed the livestock, and then after that point, take a nice lunch. And then after that point, we're going to come back out and water these fields. It's a really, like, long, drawn-out, like, foreplay.
3 days later, all right, now we're ready.
Now let's have sex. And, this is also the worst farmer ever. Like, I don't know why he talks like this. I'm a farmer. We're, like, in the town of all the other farmers, just like, well, I reckon. Wake up on them honey morning dew. And we'll come out and drive tractors. Hey there, Bill, I'm a farmer too.
I like my own homemade sweet tea.
So like, she, like, plays into the moment and, like, brings him in closer to seduce him. She uses her sexual charm or whatever you want to title it. And as he gets closer, bites her neck and infects him. And then he becomes a zombie. I kind of took it as more as vampires, but we'll go with zombies in this case. I mean, I guess same thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, I just piss off a lot of people. No, they're zombies.
Yeah, same diff. Vampire, zombie, tomato, tomato.
Potato, potato.
Potato chip, sliced potato.
And so, and you see that throughout the entire film. That's how she gets all her victims is using her sexual nature to lure them in and infect them. And I liked that because it did it in a more of a subtle way than, like, how, I guess, again, Species did it. Where it was like, it was very overt and in your face, and obviously that's the point of it. This one, it was more so just like, you see her as a hunter. Like, she's hunting and, like, she's infecting people. And I just liked that because it did it in a very natural way with how she was in employing her sexual nature to get her victims. I mean, she didn't just do it to guys. I'm pretty sure, I think there was, like, 1 or 2 female kills as well. Yeah. But obviously it was mostly men. Again, product of its time. Yeah. And so I had a hard time giving this one a Gore rating. So because this is a 70s film, and the way David did it, that the blood and guts is not over the top. Yeah. Now, as the infection spreads throughout the city, it increasingly gets a little more intense and gets more, like, in your face with each killing. So, like, there's a scene where, like, one doctor who's infected cuts off the finger of one of his, like, I don't know who it was, but just, like, one of, like, the surgeon assistants. Yeah. And, like, shows the whole scene of him cutting off the finger, and, like, there's blood spurting everywhere, and he tries to bite it, and, like, that part, like, was a really good gory, bloody scene, because it was just, like, over the place. So I'm giving it a solid 3 out of 5 buckets of gore. So it's not over the top. It's not going to be, like, anything in the realm of Reanimator at all. But because it gets increasingly better throughout the movie, and when it does happen for its time, it's definitely over the top. That's why I'm giving it that 3 out of 5. So it's a solid 3. It's an arguable 3 out of 5 buckets of gore. You're not going to get over the top, but again, for its time, it did well enough for it. Now, keeping within the mind, this is a David Cronenberg film. It has some very weird, over-exaggerated acting. So you're either going to love that shit or you're going to hate it. It really depends on who you are when it comes to David Cronenberg films.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you love David Cronenberg for that, then this is right at home for you. You're going to love this movie. Because, again, this is one of his earliest movies he ever did. I think, because Scanners came, like in 82, and this was in 77, so this was a few years before even that.
Yeah.
So this is when still Cronenberg was still making a name for himself, because this was his fourth movie he ever did.
Scanners 1981.
81, so I was off by 1 year, whatever. Point being is that, like, this is definitely, like, for a Cronenberg fan. This is for you if you haven't seen it yet. Like, especially if you've kind of just been, like, thinking, like, I don't know if I want to go that far back and watch Rabid. Really do so, because you can definitely see the way his filming skills have developed over the years and where it kind of came from, especially within this movie. I mean, Rabid does it really well. It's definitely got that very rainy movie day in vibe. And I do strongly recommend this even for, like, spouses or people out there who are kind of, like, scared to watch horror movies or kind of just, like, not a really big fan of it. Because, you know, we do talk to a lot of people who have once previously served in the military or just have certain PTSDs that makes watching horror movies hard. This is probably more of a tame way to get into the horror movie scene.
Especially for Cronenberg.
Yeah, especially for Cronenberg. This is definitely more tame. And normally that's kind of like a con, especially for Cronenberg, but I think in this case it's definitely, it works for it. It works for this movie. And this is a bit of a short review because Rabid is a short movie. You'll get through it, like, really quick. It's about an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Even if it's that, it's you know, it's ending. It's ending you're either going to love and hate. Again, this all comes back to how you are as a Cronenberg person when watching a Cronenberg film. But that being said, I mean, this is definitely just like a must-watch for a veteran Golden Gal who's been watching horror movies for a long time but kind of wants a nice classic to watch. I definitely strongly recommend Rabid. You can get it on Amazon right now. I know it's available with a Shout subscription. And I think you can rent it for about like $2.99 right now on Amazon at this moment. Other than that, I do strongly recommend if you are in Colorado, in Fort Collins, go check out Gorehounds because I know they have it in stock right now as well. And this is where you can watch that movie. Please check it out. A few interesting facts about the film, though, is Sissy Spacek was David Cronenberg's first choice to play Rose. Ivan Reitman suggested Marilyn Chambers because he wanted sex appeal. Let's see. A poster for Carrie from 1976 is visible after Rose walks out of the porn theater. Sissy Spacek, who played Carrie in that film, was the first choice for Rose, but we read that. And by the way, I like how I said a poster for Carrie 1976. Like, they fucking knew there was going to be a remake to Carrie. Like the fucking 10s, like 2010s.
You know what's really funny? Is that, so this one says it's because of her Texas accent, while the first one said because she wasn't as sex appealy.
Yeah.
This is... a keloid is a type of scar tissue formed from collagen. Hence, Dr. Keloid's name is sort of a pun. They even threw a dad joke in there.
Oh, yeah, because he gets bitten on the scar. It's just, you'll have to see it. Frank's motorcycle, which he restores after Rose's crash, is a 750cc North Commando for any of our gearheads out there.
Oh, this is actually kind of cool. The song that plays on the radio in Hart's workshop is Marilyn Chambers' own disco single, Benihana.
Oh, I'm also going to point out that in that scene where he's working out on the motorcycle, there's actually a poster from, like, Jack Nicholson from Easy Rider.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, hey, my mom loves that movie. And so, I know this was kind of a quick review. I don't really have any cons, but that's what I said at the beginning, is that David Cronenberg's filming style, he's able to make his cons, like, a very, like, appealing aspect of his films.
Yeah.
So that's why there isn't really much of those. So let's do one more. Let's see here. All right. The porn theater Rose goes to is the Eve Theater. The second adult movie Marilyn Chambers did for Mitchell Brothers was The Resurrection of Eve in 1973. Rad.
The Resurrection of Eve.
The Resurrection of Eve. Whatever, it's porn, dude.
I'm just saying. You almost sound like you said the erection of Eve. Whoa.
I mean,
whoa.
That would have fit way better. The erection of Eve. I don't know. That's not a porn song. I mean, I guess we can. No, I could. No, now that's like a 1970s detective show.
I'm here to deliver your sausage. Oh my god. All right, now moving on before we just start scatting for the rest of the entire.
That's all it is. Next 10 minutes. Oh my god, it reminds me. So like, there's this cringy video I found where it's like, she's. You're either going to know her from Big Trouble in Little China or Sex in the City. So, like,
okay.
But funny enough, I'm fucking forgetting her name right now. So, hold on, real quick.
Okay.
Kim Cattrall.
Okay.
So, there's this video of, like, Kim Cattrall, like, from, like, I think it's, like, in the 90s, and, like, I don't know what it is, but it's like a documentary of her life or something. Mm-hmm. And she's like, one thing I love to do is scat with my husband. He just gets on the bass and I just scat. And it shows a scene where like he's playing the stand-up bass and like she's just like scappa wap bop wap bop wow. And she is so pleased with herself. And on one hand I'm like, wow, this is fucking cringy. And then on the other hand I'm like, God, I wish I had self-confidence like Kim Cattrall does. Because she's, like, so pleased. She's like, scabba-da-bow-bow, wow. And she does it just like that. Like, I'm not, like, paraphrasing. She's like, bop-a-da-bop-bop, wow. It's just like, she is so proud of herself. God, I wish I had her confidence. Like, damn. Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry, your movie.
No, you're good. All right, so I did my movie on I'm going to say infamously known Teeth. Yeah, so it came out in 2007. Still, the synopsis is, still a stranger to her own body, a high school student discovers that she has a physical advantage when she becomes the object of male violence.
I mean, I guess that hits on it.
She's
got teeth in her fucking vagina. It's like not a spoiler.
I know. But like... That's it. It doesn't even touch on exactly what it is in the movie.
God damn it, IMDb.
Anyways, was directed by Mitchell Lichtenstein, and written by Mitchell Lichtenstein. It stars Jess Weixler, John Hensley, and Josh Paris. Or Pies.
Is it
Josh Pies?
Or Pace?
Pies.
P-A-I-S.
It's Paris without the R.
Like, spell it how you want it said.
P-A-I-S.
Pace. We're gonna call it Pies. It's fucking Josh Pies. He's made a pie.
Pies. He's made a pie.
God. Fuck this movie.
So, God damn it, Josh. You ruined it for everybody.
Your fucking last name.
But yeah. So this... Okay, I know I've heard of this movie, like, for the longest time, and I've seen, like, little snippets of it. I've seen it in a lot of, like, top 10s, but I've never actually seen this movie till now.
Right.
And, like, okay, so when I was first watching it, or when I was first hearing about it, I did not expect it to actually be kind of, like, comedic. Like, I didn't think it was supposed to be a comedy movie.
Right, it's totally...
comedy horror, just
it is
because of, like...
definitely a dark comedy
Yeah,
horror.
it's an extremely dark comedy, because, like, especially with, like, the oh my god, the material that it's touching on.
Yeah, like rape and sexual abuse.
Especially rape.
Molestation.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. But like it's a good movie. It's definitely one you should watch. I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of people that are gonna want to watch it more than once just because it's like of the material that's in it. Like I don't know a single person like, yeah, you know what? Let's watch Teeth tonight.
I mean,
let's watch it again.
I mean, as comparatively to the other like horror movies that touch on this, I think it does definitely do it in a more tasteful manner.
Yeah, I will say it's a little bit more tasteful. Like it makes you uncomfortable when you need to be, like especially during the first rape scene.
And by the way, I'm totally aware that I just kind of said like, oh yeah, rape scenes that are tasteful. Like
There is no such thing.
Yeah,
but
it's easier. It's more palpable. Like it's
it's not like I spit on your grave where you just
it really drags it out and really just kind of makes you hate humanity.
Yeah, I mean, this movie still made me kind of hate humanity, but
definitely not to the I spit on your grave extent.
No, and so yeah. Oh crap! Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Keep going.
It's okay.
All right, so
I kept it going by pausing it.
One of my biggest cons about this movie was the beginning. Just because it did take forever to get into the movie.
Yeah.
So this one was a double whammy for Matt because he watched it with me.
Yeah.
And there's the ominous opening in the beginning where it's like over foliage and trees.
Yeah.
And then, like, it kind of sets up to what you're going at because, like, they live near this power plant.
Yep.
And so that's why she has this mutation. It's one of those where, like, you just have to draw it in from your surroundings. And the power plant makes it look like the silos next to each other makes it look like a vagina.
A vagina.
When it's going down, so it's like, it's subtly saying, you're about to see some shit.
Yeah.
And then,
just to, like, give you an idea.
So that was one con. Because, like, after you see the scene that, which is a pro in my opinion, I'll describe here in a second, then it goes into, I actually liked the second part of the long-ass fucking opening. Because it showed it showed pretty much what it looks like in the reproductive system of a woman, or of a baby being made, in a sense.
But it takes it to a cell.
Okay, no, but it shows these viruses that are, like, infecting the genes.
Her
genes,
DNA, yeah.
And her DNA of, like, why she's going to all of a sudden have these teeth.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, but I will admit if they shouldn't have done the foliage part at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was just way too long in the very beginning. But then the actual scene with the actors in the beginning movie, like, I liked it a lot because it sets you up for what's going to happen in this movie. Right. It already makes you feel bad for the girl.
Yeah.
You know, the main character, Dawn. It already makes you feel bad for her, like, right off the fucking gate. Because you're like, oh, she's going to have a rough life.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not going to describe it because it's a really gross scene. Like,
right.
I was so uncomfortable the second, like, you hear the boy go, ow! And then he's bleeding really bad from his finger. Yeah. Like, that entire scene, I was like, oh, fuck that kid.
I mean, you can kind of draw the conclusion.
Yeah. Of what happened. So, anyways, I thought that was really good. And so, but after that, then she starts off with Dawn at the Promise rally. So it's pretty much she's a guest speaker for kids to wear their promise rings and to never have sex until they're married. Yeah, you know, their biggest gift to their husband or wife. Right, and it's mostly directed at little girls because, like, you're gonna save your biggest gift for your husband, right? Not just some boy. Right.
You don't go around giving gifts to everyone if someone gives you a gift, right?
Yeah. Right. You know, like that whole thing. And I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so super dorky. And so one of the cons, though, that I had for the movie is, like, until the certain scene happens, you kind of hate everybody in this movie. Yeah. Like, I didn't even like Dawn. I wanted to punch her in the face a couple of times because I was just like, oh my
I mean, she gets to a point where you do like her.
Yeah,
but, like, does. Early on in the movie, like, I wanted to beat her and her friends up. Like,
I know, so bad. Like, we were like, just that, I could give you a wedgie right now.
Like just that movie theater scene really killed me. I was like, oh, how about this movie? That one's rated R, Jeremy.
Yeah, we can't see it.
Well, what about this one?
It's PG-13, so it's going to have a lot of hardcore making out.
I just can't do that until they go to, like, a G-rated, like,
they go to a cartoon movie.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But, like we were saying,
within
like,
this
how
context,
dorky they were in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so I can tell this whole movie is kind of making fun of the whole promise ring aspect.
Yeah.
Of, like...
Oh, it's totally satire.
Yeah,
like,
it's satire
really
the whole, like, Christian philosophy on, like, no sex before marriage and, like, that's a sin and you're a terrible human being in a sense because, like, it kind of, like, undertones say you're a terrible human being if you have sex. Yeah. You know, because that's what the whole movie's about. And so, one of the cons that I put, it's kind of a pro too, But every guy, except for the stepdad, sucks in this movie. They're all, like, super creepy.
Yeah.
Like, her crush, like, the entire time, like, before, like, things happen, he's just staring at her.
Yeah.
Really creepily. And then, like, he'll be joking with her. Like, oh, yeah, that's so funny. They'll be having a conversation and talking, and then he just gets really serious like this.
Yeah.
Like, he goes,
He's
yeah,
just,
that's
like,
great. You know, you're really pretty.
You're so fucking pretty.
And you're just like, man, fuck this guy.
Which, any single guys out there right now, unless it is the right type of girl that gets that humor, gonna tell you right now, don't go up to someone and be like, you're really fucking pretty.
You know,
that's
like,
not gonna end well for you.
No, and like, honestly, I do that to Dev just because we're already dating. So,
Yeah.
like, it's different. Where,
my
like,
God,
we'll be
dude.
joking, and I just get really serious. I'm like, I love you. Or, you're really pretty tonight.
Dude, I don't even say anything to Lauren. I just stare at her and she just gets mad. Like, 'cause the one time I tried to do it, she got mad before I even got to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I stared at her for like 5 seconds. She's like, what? I'm like, jeez.
God, I just wanted to say you look pretty today.
She's like, stop fucking staring at me. I'm like, okay.
But yeah, so there's
Rude.
that. And then also in the beginning, this is what actually, I think it agitates me more, this scene, is why I put it as a huge con. But it's until, like, I really realized and took in that it's actually, the movie's a whole satire also, and it's supposed to be a comedy. But so there's this scene where they're all in science class, and you see an entire, this is actually really funny about the whole movie, but you see an entire diagram of a dick in a science book, and then when it goes to the female genitalia, like, the science teacher gets super, like, weirded out. Like, he doesn't want to talk about the vagina, even though you're a fucking science teacher and you're talking about anatomy.
Well, but to be fair, in his case, it's not him, it's the state that made it mandatory.
Well, no. He was awkward about it, though. He didn't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant...
Not just the sticker.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the sticker.
That was part, no, it's just... I hated this whole scene because he was super awkward about, like, even just saying vagina.
You just say vagina.
Something. Yeah, and then, like, even one of the kids in the class was like, what, you mean the vulva? Like, all the kids were, like, super fine with saying it, but the teacher was just like, female parts.
Right.
And I was like, dude, you're a teacher, man. Just fucking say vagina.
Right.
Like, come on. And then, like, the state made it to where there's a sticker on the diagram of the vagina.
Yeah.
And it's just like, come on, man. Like, it's not a taboo fucking thing.
I mean, to be fair, in the movie's case, I will say that it came out during that beginning of when...
Yeah, 2007.
Yeah,
like,
when it was... When that, like, whole issue of, like, sex being taught in school became, like, a controversial thing and people were starting to go against it.
I enjoyed sex ed in class.
No, I know,
it
but,
was
like, that's
very
just, like,
informative.
when it came out. Yeah.
I know, and I know that's, like, the whole thing, and I think it's also supposed to be taking place in more of the southern part of America.
Yeah, it's definitely more conservative, like, belt of the U.S.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But anyways, so like that scene, that scene pissed me off. But I got right back into it. I mean, it made me kind of hate Dawn, but her masturbation scene right before when she was trying to masturbate.
Yeah, which she's like getting those feelings.
And it was just really funny because for her to masturbate at this point in the movie, she had to picture her wedding day and getting married to the guy, so she wasn't impure in her dreams even.
Yeah, that was funny though. That was really funny.
I thought it was great.
Also, real quick, the guy that she has a crush on, for any Trivium fans out there, dude looks like Matt Heffy under disguise.
He does. Like he straight up looks like he put a wig on.
Like a nose prosthetic and everything. And I'm just like, in waves, in waves.
Oh, there'll be more waves later. And so I didn't like that. I liked her dream, but I didn't like any of the guys. But anyway, so where it really starts picking up, because it is kind of slow in the beginning of the movie, and it's like trying to make you care, like you do care about Dawn because you're like, oh, she's super religious, that's her thing. That's all right, and she does, and the way she's portrayed of her religion is, I like it because she's not running up to everybody and shoving it in their face.
Yeah, she's a quiet girl. She's she's ignorant to most things, but she is sweet. Yeah, but it does piss me off when she gets picked on for keeping the promise ring, because like, you know what, if you're a listener, like to all our listeners, if you do believe in waiting for sex until marriage and everything, and that's your thing, that's fine. That's you. You do you. Be happy. Right.
But, like, don't make fun, like, but for all the rest of us, like, don't make fun of people like that. Like, don't shit on them. It's their choice. It's not affecting you. Like, even if you have a crush and you want to do her and she's like, no, I want to wait till marriage, then go find another girl. You know?
Right.
Like, respect her boundaries. And that was one thing that was pissing me off, but at the same time, like, I liked that. She was like, this is my boundary. This is what I'm about. I'm fine with it.
Right.
So I like that. But then, so when she's actually raped by her shitty ass crush, and it pisses me off because I'm like, the thing that made me so mad with him is that I know so many guys like that, or used to be like that, and it just made me so mad. And this movie kind of really made me hate my gender, because I was like, there are people like that, and I'm just like, God damn it! The entire time I'm like, okay, this sucks. But anyway, so like when she first finds out, is that, I'm just gonna spoil this scene for everybody. It's in the beginning. I mean, you know what you're in for. With teeth, because like you know where the teeth are.
It's in her butthole.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. No. But so he ends up accidentally. They start kissing and making out, and she's into it because she really likes this guy.
Right.
And so, but they both took the purity promise. Right. So that's what she thought was going to happen. They were just going to make out, and that was it. And so he grabs her boob, and she's like, no. And they stop, and he respects that.
Yeah.
And then they get into this cave. And so then they start making out in the cave, and then he starts getting a little aggressive with her, and she's like, no. Like, we made a promise to stay pure. And he's like, I haven't even jerked off since Easter. And, like, gets really mad. I was like, no one's stopping you from jerking off. God damn, fuck you piece of shit. And he accidentally knocks her out.
Yeah.
And this is where it pisses me off so much, is that he sees her knocked out, and instead of getting help, he's like, I'm just gonna stick it in her then.
Yeah.
And he sticks it in her, and then that's when she wakes up, is right when that happens, and he's like, oh yeah, and she's like, no, get off, and he won't stop.
Right. And then she cuts off his penis.
Yep. And then all of a sudden you just hear you see him going, and she's like, what's wrong? And he just goes, and he stands up. And I didn't expect it to show it. But you just see his balls and this big tuft of pubes and just blood squirting out of there. And I was like, oh my God. And like she gets up, she's screaming, he's screaming. And then you just see the dick fall out of her. Like onto the floor. And I was like, holy shit. And like he's screaming and he just falls into the water. And like she's screaming. She's like, Toby. I'm like, I thought it was kind of funny. Like, I was laughing afterwards. Like, but I still hate the guy. And I was like, good. Fucking got what he deserved. And so, like, she starts, like, wondering, like, what the hell's going on with her. And so she, like, tries to look, but she's too afraid. And so she does some research and finds out that she's one of these few people, or these few women that have this genetic disorder. Well, yeah, I'm just going to say disorder.
Well, no, yeah, it's totally a genetic disorder.
She has a genetic disorder to where when she... and she ends up finding out that it only happens when she's uncomfortable with whatever's going on.
When no means no.
Yeah. Because there's a point in the movie where she actually has sex, and it's fine for her, and she enjoys it. but then, like, when she gets uncomfortable with the guy the second time they're going around, like, that's when things happen again. And so... I like the movie because it's showing her, like, learning about her body, learning about the teeth and everything that's in there, and her learning about it all on her own. Like, I do wish that there was someone that she could have talked to with, and it would have been a little, like, would have felt more comfortable, because, like, I would have felt comfortable about her having someone else to learn it with, mostly because of, like, good, she's not alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, like, other than that, like, I like that throughout the movie. She's starting to own her power, and she's starting to own her sexuality and stuff like that.
I am a woman, hear me bite.
Feel me bite.
Feel me bite.
And so, I like her character progression, because, like, it sucks because in the beginning, like, she's still in denial that she was raped, and she tries to talk to someone about it, but no one's listening to her, and so she, like, what is this? I read this post that I want to use instead of saying man up anymore.
Oh, no, it's cool.
But anyway, she, like, mans up.
She sucks it up.
Like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, not even sucks it up. She owns it. She owns her issue. Because then she visits the cave and realizes that it was all real. She was actually raped, and her vagina bit off this guy's dick.
Yeah.
Right. So like, and then she starts to own it, and I like that because her personality changes, but she doesn't change. Like she still accepts who she is, and she knows that she still needs to figure out who she is, and that's what I liked. Is that it was really it was really progressive in the sense of like, be who you are. Like That's kind of what I got out of it after her thing. Like terrible things can happen to people, but like you have to own it, and that's what I liked is that she owned it and she found her way to get through it. And then, but throughout the rest of the movie, like every single guy that this happens to fucking deserves it. Yeah. And that's what I liked about the movie is that there was no like, oh no, she accidentally hurt this nice person to her. Instead, it was like, you fucked with me so bad. And then, like, I'm going to dick you over. Literally. Yeah. So, that's what I liked about it. It's definitely a good watch. Just for at least once. And, like, do you understand it is a comedy? Because I went into it not thinking it was going to be a comedy. And so I was a little disappointed at first. And then I was like, oh, it's a satire and it's supposed to be funny at moments and stuff. The whole scene with the gynecologist. Oh, my God. I could not stop laughing. Like, mostly because he'd scream at her, and then she'd scream and try and walk away, but he can't get away from her. I was just like, oh, it's so great. And so...
It's basically like a puppet scene. Like,
you
end up a puppet at that moment. You got pretty bad.
And so, that was all great. And so, but one of the things that I really, really liked is, so her brother is a piece of shit throughout the whole movie. And so... when you know about the movie, you know what happens in the beginning, and you're like, man, fuck that guy. I hope he really gets his comeuppance, and he does, and it's great. Yeah. It's so great. Right. I'm not going to spoil that. You have to see it.
Oh, man, I really want to spoil it, because there's a trivia fact about that scene that is so good.
Oh, the piercing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
I don't want to spoil it. Okay, I'm going to... so this is going to be the spoiler talk about it. It's going to be...
No, I'm getting the timer.
I'm going to say 2 minutes.
Yeah, hold on.
But sorry, I know I'm kind of like mumbling on about this movie, but it's cool, if I talk about too much about it, like it really does spoil the whole movie.
If you don't want to be spoiled for you, skip ahead. And 3,
2 minutes. Skip ahead 2 minutes and 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you find so the brother is super sexually active. He's a piece of shit, and he
brings a bad name to metalheads everywhere.
Yeah, he brings a terrible name to metalheads everywhere. And so he's having sex with his girlfriend or whatever, his fling, anything. So he's doing her from behind because he always has to do people from behind. That's what you realize about him. And so throughout the whole movie, you know that Dawn's mom is sick. And so then Dawn comes home after she ends up, her vagina bites the dick off a guy she thought liked her. Right. But she ends up finding out that he was just trying to fuck her to win a bet. And so then she ends up biting his dick off. And so she goes home. She sees her mom on the floor, passed out, and she doesn't know if she's dead or not. And calls the ambulance. And in the background, you see the brother having sex. Yeah. And so then she finds out from the girlfriend or the fling that the mom started screaming for help and everything, but the brother was like, no, she does this all the time. Don't worry about it. And the mom ends up dying. And so to get back at him, the Dawn goes to have sex with him. And so he's like, and he was just like, what? How come this never happened before? How come this hasn't happened before? Why now? So they start having sex, but then she has this smile on his face, and that's when he realizes what's about to happen. Yeah, because he fingered her. You find out he fingered her when she was only like 5 years old in the very beginning. The scene from the beginning.
I mean, to be fair, they're both kids. Still gross, not okay.
Yeah, they were still kids because he's older than her. Yeah. And he tried to finger her, and her vagina bit him because she didn't want anything to do with it. And then it shows her laughing at him in the beginning, and then in here she has the same smile, and it bites his dick off, and she spits it out, and it has a Prince Albert piercing, and the dog eats it. And I was like, yes! Yeah. So, anyways, end of spoiler.
And so, that's the end of the spoiler.
Yep. So, the end of the spoiler. Definitely give the movie a watch. I like her progression, how she overcomes the fact that she was raped in the beginning. Like, that not only was she molested in the very beginning, she was raped, and she has all this, like, sexual aggression put on her. Like, I don't like that that's every interaction she had throughout the entire movie except for half of one part.
Yeah.
But I like that she overcomes all this and actually becomes a stronger person.
Right.
And so this movie is really great. The meaning behind it of just like, don't rape. Like, come on. Like, that should just be a thing. Like, don't rape anybody.
Just don't rape.
So, yeah.
But interesting facts.
Yeah. Moving on to our trivia. During the filming of the first scene, many of the neighbors were protesting the film because they believed it to be a pornographic film.
It's
not. I can see it. It's not, but I can kind of see it if you don't know what you're signing up for. Let's see. While Dawn is riding her bike to the gynecologist, a fast food sign advertises, "Try our new 99-cent Junior Banana Split today." I don't know why that's a fun fact.
Ha!
Anyways, when speaking to her stepbrother Brad, Dawn is seen in a t-shirt with a unicorn decal on it. Unicorns represent both purity and virginity, major themes in the movie.
That joke went over your head.
It did.
Get it? A banana split.
Okay, I get it now. Gross. The piercing on the... Okay, do you want to read this one?
Yeah, so without giving too much away, so there's a dick piercing within the movie, and a dog eats a severed dick. And so... To ensure that the dog wouldn't choke, an actual local bakery made the piercing. So that way, just in case if the dog did swallow it, it would dissolve instead of choke the dog.
Well, that's good. I'm glad they have animal rights.
Yeah, they made it like out of sugar. So like that's the only way I'm gonna put it in because that's a fucking without giving anything away.
Yep. So to end things, definitely give Teeth a watch. And for me, anyways, I could definitely see it's not a movie that you might want to go watch again, but. I don't know. Some people might want to watch that movie again.
Oh, no. You're going to want to watch it again. Get back in there.
Yeah. No,
come on, man.
But I enjoyed it.
Someone out today.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those movies that I want to show a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Just to see their reactions.
So, unfortunately, though, currently right now you can only watch Teeth on Amazon with a subscription to Cinemax, or you can rent it for $3.99 right now.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're up here in Fort Collins or nearby, you can go to Gorehounds and rent it from there.
Yeah, yep. That's what we're looking at.
So to wrap things up, definitely give Teeth a watch. Gore, buckets of blood. How much would you say? Because the blood, when there was blood, there was blood.
I would say it's definitely at a solid 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, because there's few and far between. But when it's there, it's fucking there.
Yeah, because of the close-up shots of the decapitated penises. And the fact that they squirt blood out of the hole, really adds to that effect.
Yeah, and it's not just a little, beep. It's like a fucking fountain.
Yeah.
I like that because the penis is a major artery.
Yeah.
So it's not nothing there. When it gets severed, it's just squirting blood out because there's a lot of blood.
Remember in that previous episode where we it was after New Year's and we went and I talked about how we went down to the downtown artery and I thought it was a gay bar because it was a euphemism.
Artery.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, now you can see why. Because it's a major artery.
Yep.
So go fuck me for thinking that.
No.
Okay, don't then. Point being. Is that, God, you can see where I made that mistake.
Yeah. And to catch up on everything else Punk Rock Horror Podcast related,
like us and follow us on Facebook. You can search us up, Punk Rock Horror Podcast, or on our Twitter @officialPRHP.
On Instagram, Punk Rock Horror Podcast, #PRHP Podcast.
If you want to follow me exclusively, The Undead, you can follow me on Instagram @The Undead Man. If you want to support the show, please consider going over to our Patreon today, and for just $2 a month, you'll get access to our bonus show called the Punk Rock Half Hour Power, and you'll get access to episodes for anyone else, including the Paranormal Princess podcast, which is coming out at the end of this month here.
Yay!
So
more content.
You'll be able to listen to those episodes before anyone else. And to really emphasize on that, the Patreon does go straight to supporting this show and to keeping the lights on. You are helping keeping local artists and local creators going forward, and we love that support from you. It means the world to us. If you want to also support the show, just consider, and you don't want to be a patron, please consider going over to our merch store and getting yourself a shirt or mug today. You can find all these links below in the episode notes, or you can go to our website and also get redirected to all these places too as well at www.punkrockhorrorpodcast.com. One other thing though is so we didn't come out with a band showcase this month. Now, pure and simple, it was that the band that was going to come on, they had to cancel very last minute, and we just couldn't find someone in time to fill that slot. And I know in the last band showcase I talked about that we do have a lot of bands coming out, and we're going to try to do like at least 2 a month just to catch up. But just the way things were scheduled,
this was a hectic month for both of us.
Yeah, we couldn't move a band up in time to fill that time slot, and so that's what it is. We're still going to be coming out with one this month. It'll be later within the month, but just so you guys are aware, that's the only reason why there wasn't one this past Wednesday, is purely just because of that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against them. Shit happens.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah, I definitely know that.
Yeah. So it's just the way things go. Thank you again for hanging out with us, ghouls and gals, and letting us talk about horror with you and give you some suggestions. And we will check you out next time on the Punk Rock Horror Podcast. Bye.
Bye.